Well, hello again and welcome to Winfield's week of Rugby League, and boy oh boy was it a week. In fact, I hope you've got plenty of time to stay with us for the full program, because we start with the third state of origin between New South Wales and Queensland, and we'll witness, of course, the triumph of the New South Wales Blues in making it a whitewash in the 1986 state of origin. Then on Saturday it was Canterbury Bankstown against Eastern Suburbs, a scoreline I'm led to believe that certainly wasn't truly indicative of the balance between the two clubs. Then in New Zealand, on a very wet Carlaw Park, Australia opens the Test series with a victory over New Zealand. The match that we had for NEC was at Redfern between Souths and Penrith, and they went right down to the wire, of course, with Penrith having their 4-star players all out for one reason or another. And then finally on Monday night, it was the battle of the Dragons, still trying to get back on the tracks, against Balmain. And of course they needed to win against the St George side to again draw level with Penrith in the top 5. But I guess the best place to start is at the start. And here's Lang Park on the Tuesday night.
And out come the invaders from the south. The New South Wales team out to create state of origin history here tonight by whitewashing the dreaded Maroons. There's the man that's out to stop them, the Queensland skipper, Wally Lewis. And let's take a look at that Queensland side now. The fullback number 1, Gary Belcher. Dale Shearer and Les Kiss on the wings. The two big centres, Meninga and Miles. Wally Lewis, captain. Mark Murray, halfback. Bobby Linder at lock forward. Gavin Jones, the biggest man on the field in the second row with Brian Needling. Cavill Hugh comes in at prop. Greg Kinescu's the hooker. And Brad Tessman is the other prop. There's the New South Wales team. Number 1 and fullback, Gary Jack. Brian Johnston and Eric Groth on the wings. Michael O'Connor, Chris Mortimer the centres. Kenny and Sterling, a great pair of halves. Wayne Pearce the skipper. Crusher Cleal and Steve Folkes in the second row. Peter Tunks and big Stevie Roach are the props, and Royce Simmons is the hooker. There's the referee, Mr. Kevin Roberts. He's refereeing his 6th state of origin game tonight. New South Wales certainly can't complain about him. In the 5 games he's had, they've won 4, and Queensland have won 1. Wally Lewis has won the toss, and he's made up his mind too, and he's got plenty to think about tonight. As I said, there has never been a whitewash in a state of origin series since the inception back in 1980. In 84, Queensland were chasing it. What happened? They came up here, and New South Wales came out and walloped them in the last game. Last year, New South Wales were chasing it. What happened in the last game? Queensland flogged them by 20 points to 6. So tonight's the night, and plenty resting on this too, because these Queenslanders in particular know quite a few of them are getting a bit long in the tooth, and if they don't make the test team that's being chosen tonight for that first test against New Zealand, they may be in great trouble to make the Kangaroo Tour. New South Wales are kicking off. The man who's going to kick off is Michael O'Connor, with the commentary, Darryl Eastlake.
Thank you, Michael. Michael O'Connor for New South Wales to start proceedings tonight. Referee Kevin Roberts blows time on, and the ball's in the air for the final match of the Winfield series, State of Origin for 1986. And what a series this is going to be. A lot for Queensland to play for, and certainly a lot for New South Wales too. They could clean sweep the series the first time ever. And Needling will play it for Queensland now. Kinescu dummy half. Comes out almost to Testman, but it goes on to Jones. Jones just takes play outside the 22. Back for the kick, Mal Meninga drives the ball downfield. Gary Jack, well positioned, but it might be Jack. It does too. So first blood to Queensland. They find the line with a good kick from Mal Meninga. Jack Gibson, a lot of stake in this match tonight.
It's more than a prize for winning this. It's a trip across to New Zealand, rather, that they're going to want to establish themselves for.
Sterling to feed for New South Wales. Of course, Australia play New Zealand on Sunday. You'll see that on Nines by Water Sports as Gary Jack makes a little bust, but good defence. Brings him down centre field, midway between the quarter and a half now. Kenny swings one out wide, and there's a big tackle from Queensland. Wrapped up, ball and all. Pierce plays it back. Comes back to Tunks. Tunks straightens up the attack, but there's plenty of Maroon defenders to belt him down too. Play hasn't gone a metre. New South Wales bottle up at the moment. Roach has a run. He's been in fine form in this series, but this defence from Queensland pretty serious at the moment. Back it comes to Sterling. Good kick from Sterling. He gets it down, and Kiss takes it well now. Runs round Belcher and straightens up the attack, and he's tackled midway, or probably about 32 metres out from the Queensland line. Canescu. It'll run from dummy half, just settling the play down. Queensland a little bit slow to get back on side. Now they're back and well positioned. Brad Tessman, the Eastern Suburbs player, that's been called up now as it comes out. Lewis puts the ball up for Meninga. Meninga look to unload, turns it back inside very quickly for Bobby Lindner. Lindner with a nice pass out. That's gives him a bit of room to move now. Oh, a great tackle from Jack, but he gets out of that tackle. Bounces up, he's still going inside the 22. Kessler, that's a good run from Lescus, the North Sydney boy, playing for Queensland tonight. Queensland on the attack now with a chance. Out it comes to Lewis, a long, huge pass out, and they've got the numbers outside. Shearer heading for the line, and fourth down, and he's in. Shearer's brought in, and that's a great try for Queensland. Started off a pass from Wally Lewis. That was a giant one. Oh, what a start for Queensland. Watch this pass from Wally Lewis. 1, 2, 3, 4 players it cuts out. Goes to Miles. Miles gets it on to Meninga. Meninga out to Shearer. Shearer puts on the pace. There was Kenny to get him. But no, he's through a growth tackle to and over.
Now Miles, a one-handed pass away to Niebling. Niebling running strongly up towards the halfway mark. And in 2 plays, Queensland have brought play from their own line up to the halfway. Here's Murray onto Lewis. Back inside for Tasman. Now it's with Tasman, who has it on the halfway mark, and the Queensland fans don't like these heavy tackles from New South Wales. Meninga across now to Kiss. Very elusive, this fellow. And Kiss has it just inside the New South Wales half. Belcher 8 metres inside New South Wales territory. Queensland 4-0 with Murray. And Murray's kick has found touch. Can't fault that. Fine kick from the halfback. Lewis will play it 30 metres out from his own line. Canescu dummy half to Lindner. Queensland fans calling New South Wales to get onside. That penalty's gone to Queensland. And it's not for being offside, it's for reefing the ball out of the Queensland player's hands. They were called to play it. Put down here by Folks. And the penalty to Queensland. Now Lewis will try and find touch. He's found it. 9 metres inside the New South Wales half. Queensland lead 4 points to nothing. Murray will take the free kick. They're running around, and finally with Jones. He straightens it and now plays it. Niebling has it. We saw that Queensland was 10 kilos heavier in the forwards, and you can see considerably heavier in the backs. Now play 32 metres out from the New South Wales line. With Lewis. The run around with Canescu, and Jones straightening the attack, running onto the ball strongly. Just outside the quarter. Cross with Lewis. Floater again for Miles. And then on to Belcher. Belcher holding it clear. He's got the ball. Belcher for the line. And Belcher's there. Is he there? Yes, he is. Referee Roberts awards the try. Queensland in for their second. A very strong start from Queensland. Watch it with us. There was that pass again from Lewis. And Belcher into the gap, running strongly for the corner. Growth tried to take him. Jack came across in cover. But again, the momentum was there. And although referee Roberts took a little while, he awarded the try. Jack Gibson.
We certainly awarded the try here, but again, everything happens off Lewis. What New South Wales at about half their defensive side on the other side of the football, batting get Lewis lined up, ready to attack, and they never adjusted. So they got a little overlap there with a good player like Belcher. He just travelled upstream and then he went.
Eric Growth has gone off, and Terry Lamb is on. Growth's knee obviously has given way again. I'd say it was on that attempted tackle. There he is going off.
Murray to Lewis. And then to Miles again. Miles running strongly. That one-handed pass for Canescu. Here's Lewis again. Lewis gets it away, and Lewis upended pretty late too, I thought. Play on, said the referee, as Murray will play it right on the halfway mark.
Q across to Meninga. Gary Jack has some work to do as Meninga's kick bounces in the in-goal area. Jack has it without too much pressure. Lindner is with him. Meninga chasing him, but Jack's away from Meninga. Linking up with him is O'Connor. And O'Connor short of the quarter line before he's put down. Brad Tessman hurt in that tackle. Very shakily. Now here's Simmons. New South Wales pinned in their own quarter. Cross to Terry Lamb. He's just joined us. Terry Lamb on to replace Eric Groth, who's injured. And that's a fine kick from Lamb. Oh, I thought it was, but it's done a left-hand turn. How did that not go out? Belcher picks it up and put down inside New South Wales territory. Gee, you'd have bet all the money in the world that kick was going out. Now here's Kiss again from dummy half, out of one. Caught by Kenny. And Crusher clear over the top. Lewis. Meninga. Short ball for Miles. Miles up into 10 metres inside New South Wales territory. Queensland lead by 8 points to 0. Meninga blindside. Makes a few more metres before the defence gets to him. Enescu across to Murray. And then to Lindner. And Lindner's put down 32 metres out from the New South Wales line. Last tackle signalled by referee Roberts. Blindside goes Lewis. Linking up with him was Miles. The pass has been knocked down. In 6 tackles to go. Here's Canescu. Canescu's going to score! 3 tries to Queensland. Call it lucky if you like, but the points are on the board. That sign says it all. Greg Canescu. They call him the Turtle. Here's how it happened. It was Lewis running blindside. The pass went to Miles. That pass was knocked down by one of the New South Wales players. Picked up by Shearer, given straight away to Canescu. And the Queensland hooker in to score. That's a fair try. And Les Kiss, who's a handy short-distance kicker for North Sydney. His first opportunity to kick for Queensland. Relatively simple kick for him. And he's missed it too. So it remains 12-0. Queensland over New South Wales. We have 16 minutes of play remaining in the first half, Darryl.
New South Wales have missed 11 tackles, and by gee, they were really getting a roaring behind the line. There's another replacement coming on. That's French. Tessman is off. Brad Tessman has gone off, and French is on. And New South Wales have to get their mind back on the jobs as Miles takes it up for another run of 4 or 5 hard metres. Last tackle for Queensland. Canescu dummy half. It'll come out to Lewis. There it is. Lewis decides to run it again. It goes to Murray. This time the little chip from Murray. He regathers the ball to him. Slips a good ball out. For Bobby Lindner, they can't take it. Gary Jack's on the ball. So New South Wales turn the fence into attack. They get it out there to Kenny. Gets on right corner. And Connor's streaking down. He'll get there. And Connor the defence is coming across. But New South Wales have scored their first try. And that's a length of the field. And that's a ripper. Oh, O'Connor in off a great Brett Kenny pass.
Well,
1 minute they were defending and then they were on the attack, and this is how it started. There's the little chip from Murray now. He took it well. The tackle from Sterling. Went to Lindner, he couldn't handle it. Gary Jack came onto the ball now. Gary Jack slipped a long floater out for Brett Kenny. He got it onto O'Connor. O'Connor put it into top gear and got the afterburner going and went the length of the field to score a try with plenty of defence chasing him, but he burnt the turf. Crowd really giving the old Lang Park roar, but it's no problem for O'Connor. So that makes it 12 points to 6. New South Wales trailing Queensland. Murray will play it. Now Queensland back with a chance. But this game's come alive again as Wally Lewis tries to just make that couple of metres and get a break, but can't do it. Too much defence. G. Miles at dummy half. Comes on to French, the replacement player. Came on for Tessman. Canescu dummy half. On to Niebling. Niebling wrapped up and belted down pretty hard by the New South Wales forwards. Canescu onto Murray. There's Lewis. Oh, drop ball to New South Wales with another chance. They can't handle it. So we'll have a scrum 10 metres short of the halfway line. New South Wales into the ground. Well, Ian, this game's been played in stops and starts. Queensland started on fire, then New South Wales came back.
Indeed, and aren't they building each other around? I would think the only person who doesn't mind how hard these fellas built themselves about is the New Zealand coach, Graham Lowe, sitting across the Tasman smiling to himself, because whatever side the Australian selectors come up with tonight is going to be badly battered and bruised after this encounter. And here's New South Wales with it. Noel Cleal still going, losing the ball again, not having him to win out with his hands crusher. The Shearer picks up the dregs, he's lost it, picked up by Jack. Now it's across with Folkes for New South Wales. On to Pearce, to Kenny. Kenny saw the gap. How did he get through that gap? Kenny in the clear, looks for support. Pearce is there. What a great try! What a great try from New South Wales. And Brett Kenny, how did he get through that gap? I can't believe how Brett Kenny was able to slip through that gap. Watch it again with us. Folkes gave the pass to Pearce. And watch Kenny. Look, how can he get through that? He's not entitled to. What a great player he is. And a good pass from Kenny, from Pearce to Pearce. And there's the try. What a fine try, Jackie.
Well, I got to agree with you. He had a little to do with that, the boy Kenny. But Pearce was good there too, and so was Folkes. He got a good shot out of it. He stays alive, Pearce, and anticipates Kenny going to do something. He's looking for help and goes straight into Pearce's hands.
Now O'Connor. Makes no mistakes. And we have the game tied up at 12-all here at Lang Park. And we've seen plenty of action. We've seen plenty of tries. Well, referee Roberts not happy with it. And often see this scrum being fed more than once these days. It's a rare occasion, but Sterling has it now at the scrum base and caught 11 metres out from the New South Wales line. Johnson a dummy half. Back slam. A strong tackle from Meninga. Now across to Pearce. Not making much progress though. Now it's back again for Mortimer. Oh, he's knocked it on. An awful mistake. Well, the pass went from Simmons back to Mortimer for the kick. And the simplest of mistakes means that Queensland get the feed only 6 or 7 metres out. That's gone with the feed. Lindner has it. Lindner, though, caught quickly by Cleal, who broke very fast. Now, what can Queensland do? It's across to Meninga. And a long pass to Meninga. Kiss is going to score. There's Kiss in. Well, that pass from Meninga made it look easy. And Les Kiss, who's been very much involved in this game, in to score yet another try. We've had a feast of them so far. Here it is. It went from Murray to Lewis to Meninga, and this is the pass that did it. Nice pass to Les Kiss in the score for Queensland.
Oh, and they reap the ball out. Chance for New South Wales. Roach, long floating pass out. Lamb just handballs it. Gets it on to Kenny. Kenny puts the pedal down, but his tackle about a metre out. Wrestling down is Lewis all over the top of him like a wet blanket. Kenny's laughing. Right, they tow it through. Comes back to Sterling now. On to Lamb. Long ball out for Gary Jack. He's got numbers outside. Jack, but brought down with a good tackle. But New South Wales still have some time now. Goes to Sterling. They've got a set move on. Comes over Johnson. Johnson straightens up. Centre field now, New South Wales. Which way will they go? They go on to Roach. Roach now flicks one out for Lamb. There's the long floating ball out for Mortimer. He gets it on to Kenny. Kenny evades one. On to Pearce. Pearce going for the line, and he's only half a metre out. New South Wales throwing everything with just one tackle to go now. It goes to Tunks. Tunks bearing his way. He's put it down. Well, let's see, it's a try. Big Tunks has buried it over and slammed it down for New South Wales. Whoa! Power play from Tunks. And Kenny was in that one too. There's the play, the ball. Tunks just drives off those huge legs right through the Queensland defence, and bang, down it goes. And a try for New South Wales. And Wally Lewis is having a talk to the referee. Peter Tunks, the try scorer.
Well, looked a little suspicious there. He may have fumbled it across. But we're a long way from the action. Just looking on the replay, that was Could have been a malfunction there.
Let's have another look, Jack. Here it is again.
Well, he's got the leverage. He gets it down with one hand, but to me, it was no try.
Well, Lewis was arguing the point.
Scoreboard.
Lewis arguing the point. 16 apiece. The kick to come. O'Connor had a good night with the boot tonight. It's not an easy angle. Pretty vital, though. We're only seconds away from half-time. Crowd really giving him the big banana vendors razz up here. Won't phase him. There it goes. Waved away, though. So, 16 all the score. In another thriller here. State of Origin. Series number 3. Now, Queensland have missed 5 kicks at goal so far tonight. New South Wales kicked marginally better. Meninga will restart for Queensland. Drives it down, only seconds remaining. Mortimer brings it back. And there it is, the half-time hooter is gone. And we have a scoreline of 16 all, so plenty to come in the second half here.
As Mal Meninga prepares to kick off for Queensland in the second half, Darryl Eastlake.
Thank you, Michael. Interesting to note, too, that Queensland have led on most of the occasions as Sterling takes the ball now, and they bring it back through Pearce. But Queensland have led in Brisbane 16-12, Sydney 16-12, but tonight 16-16. So anything can happen tonight, and it should in the second half. Back it comes to Tunks, scored that vital try. He certainly got the points just before half-time. Goes back to Simmons, on to Sterling. Sterling clears now, clearing kick. And Queensland bring it back to the halfway line. Some pretty vigorous attack and defence going on in this first half. Here it is, time of possession. Queensland 12 minutes 10 seconds. New South Wales 10 minutes 55 seconds. So nothing much in it. And this defence still big. As we've said before, the first test in Carlaw Park, Auckland in New Zealand on Sunday, and you'll see it live as Miles puts another nice ball around the corner that's put down. New South Wales come up with it. And there they are, right on the halfway line. They lose the football this time, and back it goes to Miles again. He and Cleal having a wrestling match to find out who's got it, but Miles will play it. Yes, sir. Cleal strikes for the ball. And that's given a penalty to Queensland, so silly play.
It's back for Jones. And Jones out of one, running strongly. He's lost the ball. Picked up by Crusher Cleal. And the pass has gone out to Kenny. Kenny out of one, sidestepping and weaving, taking play up towards the halfway mark now before he's put down. So possession changing rapidly in this game. Now it's back to Roach. He didn't want it. It's back to Simmons. He didn't want it either. And Simmons puts his head down and almost gets through. And still able to slip the pass to Sterling. Now the floater for Jack. Jack saw the gap, links up with O'Connor. O'Connor can't bet around Shearer, but able to offload to Pearce. Pearce inside the Queensland territory. A pass back to Mortimer. On to Jack. Jack caught from behind, and a good tackle. Shearer it was, brought him down, but now play just 32 metres out from the Queensland line. Inside goes Folkes off Sterling, and Folkes almost to the quarter line. Across to Sterling, then to Crusher Cleal. Cleal running strongly. Cleal still going. 13 metres out now from the Queensland line. Simmons goes blindside, a pass to nobody, picked up by Gary Jack. Last tackle signal for New South Wales. It's back to Sterling. There's the bomb from Sterling. It's up, hanging in the air. A couple of blue jumpers chasing it. It's loose. Everybody's diving on it, and the referee has ruled that New South Wales couldn't ground it. Now goes Belcher from dummy half. Belcher almost to the quarter. Back to Lewis. The kick from Wally is over the head of Gary Jack, and it's a long, raking kick running towards the touchline. And it's there over the touchline. Oh, Wally Lewis on a magic kick. They were pinned inside their own quarter with nowhere to go, and that man, Wally Lewis, put his foot to the ball again and found touch just outside the New South Wales quarter. He does this time and time again.
It happens too regular to be a fluke. He does it a dozen times a game.
And they're making pretty good ground, Queensland. Away they charge again with their big men. But this New South Wales defence is there to meet them. Back it comes. They go the blind side. Murray turns a nice ball back inside for French, and French puts it down, about 10 metres out. So Queensland with a chance now. Let's see the runners. Cavill Hugh winds up, he's scored. Cavill Hugh, he's given it. No, he hasn't awarded. He's got a plate. He's only half a metre short. Signals going everywhere from Queensland. Ball loose, being towed through from New South Wales. Les Kiss is chasing it. He falls on it, but it rolls into touch. Well, a let-off for New South Wales as Hugh charged the line. Replacement going on. Gillespie is coming on for New South Wales. See who goes off. It looks like Tunks is going off. Peter Tunks is off. That knee has been giving him plenty of trouble right throughout the season. He brave performance this year, Peter Tunks.
He had no receivers there then, but if there'd been somebody there, they'd probably score.
Belcher with a fine runner inside the 22 is Lewis. Lewis puts a short pass up there, raiding away. Queensland are about 7 metres out, but great defence from New South Wales. And they smash them back, and they're down on 10 metres out from the line now. Queensland in possession. They wind up again, and there's a big run from Jones. He'll play it back. He's about 5 metres out. They've got the numbers here. Wallace to Lewis. Meninga standing. They've wrapped him up, ball and all. He's only half a metre short. Well, they're still on the attack. Running out of tackles quickly. What will they do? Comes back. There's Murray with a little slingshot. Picked up quickly. But they're about half a metre out, and the penalty has gone to New South Wales. And this will bring it. Oh, look at Lewis. Puts his hands on his head. And Wally Lewis has gone off his head. Grabbed the side of his head and said, "No, I don't believe it." Jack Gibson.
Well, the kick may have come off New South Wales player. That it did. It was fair play.
Well, Wally Lewis wasn't happy. He was absolutely annoyed at that one. He threw his head back, but of course that's all part of the tactics of the game.
10 minutes to go, 16 points all. New South Wales desperately trying to make it 3-0 in this interstate series. No team has ever done that. And look at Crusher Cleo making great ground inside the quarter line. Now it's with Lamb, run around with Sterling. The pass is there for Kenny. Running off Kenny though is Wayne Pearce. Inside goes Gary Jack, a high tackle for Miles. Jack put down. Referee just issues the caution. Jack has hit the deck. Kenny has it.
They're in the field goal there.
In position for the field goal. If they can get it back, but offside that fellow. Offside, and referee Roberts had no hesitation in ruling that. He just can't stand alongside the man playing the ball. And that's exactly what Konescu did. Look, at no stage was he onside. Now Queensland have missed 5 kicks at goal, which is possibly 10 points. That could be very costly. But the pressure is on O'Connor now with this kick. Here's O'Connor. And he's made no mistake. New South Wales hit the front. 18 points to 16. Back at Lang Park in a moment. So the scrum will go down 10 metres out from the Queensland line. It's with Belcher. You're going to have to do something exciting here. And Meninga looks like he might be able to do it. Meninga to the halfway mark. A little kick through for Meninga. It's a chase. And what a chase this will be. But it's going to fade. Oh, my brother can't get to it. But finally dives on it. Knocked back, said the referee. No knock on, he said. Play on. The crowd didn't like it. Oh, gee, pressure situation. Referee Roberts had to rule quickly on that. It's back for Roach. Last tackle signal. And it's back now for Lamb. His kick is straight down the throat of Belcher. Now Belcher is going to have to be a miracle man to do anything here. The kick, the chip ahead for Shearer. But Sterling is there to regather and almost lost it. Finally fell on it. And there's a bit of a scuffle in there as Shearer was determined to try and get the ball.
He gets a little excited, that Shearer. Time.
The seconds counting down. Scrum forming inside New South Wales territory. 7 seconds. And that's just about it. Here comes the siren. There it is. Queensland are going to do something absolutely miraculous. Lewis puts the kick in the air. Jack can't take it cleanly. Kenny's back there for it.
Fair decision.
Shearer throwing his hands up in delight, but a fair decision from referee Roberts, and New South Wales have created Rugby League history by becoming the first team to make a clean sweep of the State of Origin series. Tonight they've won 18 points to 16, and that was one heck of a game of football tonight, Jack.
Well, Roberts, too, he showed plenty of character. He had a real tough one there.
He sure did. Jumpers being exchanged. Now, after this game of football, the selectors will sit down to select the Australian team, and there'll be 26, well, there'll be more than that. There'll probably be 30 players out there tonight, absolutely bone-weary. The pace has been hectic right from the start. The tackling has at times been ferocious, and they've provided entertainment for the crowd here and for a vast television audience.
Well, it was a game of pain and bodily miseries, but it's over now, and they're shaking hands. They've forgotten it.
Congratulations to all the players for providing that entertainment. Congratulations to New South Wales and their coach Ron Willey. A marvellous effort. 18-16 the score tonight.
The first game of Winfield Cup football comes to you on Saturday from Belmore Sports Ground, Canterbury Bankstown versus Eastern Suburbs. The Roosters were backing up after a great win the previous weekend against North Sydney, whilst Canterbury were taking the field without their test men, Steve Folkes, Peter Tunks and Terry Lamb. But as usual, the man to stop in the Canterbury Bankstown outfit with their captain and halfback, Stevie Mortimer.
Paul Cooley in charge as the Bulldogs kick off, right down towards the Roosters line, and it's French who brings it back towards the quarter line. And we're looking for some hard hitting early on from these renowned Canterbury tacklers. Steve-O.
Well, you said it there, Jim. I think that the Canterbury pack, they'll be really fired up, especially David Gillespie. I know he wanted to get the green and gold, but he's got plenty of time on his hands, the youngster. But I think he'll show today why they call him cement. It's going to be really hard out there.
Mackay plays it back. Simpkins, dummy half, controlling it. East's on their quarter. That's Melrose, restored to first grade, although he played most of the game last week, coming under his replacement. And the man on the wing is Glenn Frendo, Canterbury junior. He and Campbell are quickest players in the Bulldogs team. And O'Brien, buffeted by the East defence, just in his half. There's Brian Johnson up for the tackle. Kelly. That's Mortimer. Into a bit of space here. Chalice chasing it, but it beats him into touch. So Steve Mortimer, with East keen to move up in defence, turning them around with a kick and gaining some valuable ground.
Certainly was a good kick there, and a good run by the fullback Phil Sigsworth.
I hope he hasn't lost his strength with that shaving job.
Looks different, Jim.
Almost unrecognisable as Kevin Hastings. This year he's sported a mo for the whole year to date. There's Billy Johnson. So East having to do the hard yakker again. Gillespie, Gilmester and Trevor Patterson going in with Hastings. On the blind, Langmack, Robinson, Frendo for the corner. He's got it down. He's in. Frendo scores the try. It was neatly engineered by the Bulldogs. Very simple, fundamental stuff, and Frendo finished it.
Certainly was. Mortimer started this by a little fake to the open side and a switch to the blind. A good play by Robinson, who probably found himself having to rest in centre position and finds himself feeding the last pass. Mortimer, beautiful long ball out there. Langmack switched onto Robinson, and Robinson, rather than bullocking his way through, that's what wingers are there for.
And it's lost by Tobin. Frendo's come up with it. Tobin wasn't expecting it. That's Langmack. Steve Mortimer. Johnson with Hagan. That's Sigsworth. He's made a bit of a bust. Here's a chance for the Bulldogs. Hagan chasing it, and he's going to give it a try. Now, he could have been offside. We'll have a look at the replay there. But Hagan scored the try. Good work by Sigsworth to bust the line. A clever kick. And just have a look at this.
Certainly was good play. Linking from the fullback just gets it away from the jersey tug. And I think he should have passed here. He was drawing the full back. He had the inside. Egan was inside. And quite frankly, that was touch and go.
So with Sigsworth taking it up, we've got a guest down on the sideline, and Brisbane viewers will know his face. It'll probably be something of a new face to our viewers in New South Wales, but he'll be playing with the Bulldogs in the next few weeks. Down with Debbie Spillane, Tony Curry.
Tony, you signed with Canterbury on Monday last week. When do you expect to get your first run?
Probably after the bye, Debbie. The bye in a couple of weeks.
I believe you came down with a bit of an ankle problem. What's the story with that?
I went up and took a bomb in the last game up in Brisbane and went in a pothole and twisted it.
You do play three-quarters or full-back. We might just cross back to Jim Maxwell for a moment. I think.
Look at this run by Chalice. He's heading for the corner, but that's a great covering tackle by Sigsworth. And Portlock again from broken play, setting it up. Brilliant run by Chalice, and the cover came from Sigsworth.
Certainly was. Good play by the fullback and a good step. Chalice really going for the line, but this is our fullback. That's what they're there for.
Simpkins calling the shots with Hastings. Batiste. Trevor Patterson. Well picked up by Spina. That's Simpkins heading for the line, and it's a try, is it? Forward, he said. Tobin took the pass, but Phil Cooley's ruled a forward pass.
This was hard lines for the hooker. He really did well here, and just marginally forward.
Steve Mortimer, they're looking good here. That's done. Over the top, O'Brien. O'Brien plays for the corner. Here's Hastings in cover with French. And Hastings gets him just in the nick of time. Otherwise, there was another Bulldogs try. End to end. Hagan. It's still on here. That's done. Went backwards. Kelly. Canterbury all bunched on the blind. It's Johnson on his knees, grovelling to the line. Mortimer's ball. Robinson, yes! Steve Mortimer, a bullet-like pass to the man who was coming forward like a stampeding rhino. It was Jeff Robinson. Look at him go. Rash! And scores the try. Will this be his first goal? Look at it. Yes. He's on target. Almost half-time. Canterbury leading by 12. Sevo.
Well, it really has been a case of Canterbury, the premiers, just going through the motions, not doing anything fancy, using their big forwards. And then waiting for the opportunity to see that opening and taking their chances. The Eastern Suburbs, they've had plenty of chances to get points on the board, but they've made far too many mistakes. You can't afford to be in the first grade of Sydney competition with so many mistakes.
Kelly unloading it to Gillespie. The pass was knocked down there by Melrose, and they've come up with the ball. Trying to lose it again. How many of their passes have hit the deck today, Easts? They're real hot and cold with the ball. It's half-time. So 14-2 at the break to the Bulldogs. 3 tries and 1 goal to a goal. And they've clearly been the superior team, but East have had their chances. Dunn's ball to Hagan. Hagan making a good bust. Canterbury are back in business again. Johnson. Lost by Kelly. And East couldn't regather. He copped one there, Gilmister. Copped an accidental boot as the ball went on the ground. Have a look at this.
Just an unfortunate thing here. Kelly trying to kick for the loose ball. Connected with Gilmister instead.
East ball, Portlock. This is a chase. Look at Chalice go. If he picks it up, he scores. And he's in for a try. Great innovation by Wayne Portlock. East's first try. They've done something different, and they've come up with a great try.
This was a try from the very word go. As soon as they got the ball from the scrum, they knew exactly what was going to happen. Portlock coming into the line, hesitated a moment just to ensure that the wingman was onside, and a beautiful kick over.
He's hit it well. It's 2 points. Canterbury 14, East 8. East win it. It's Melrose with Spina. Portlock. French with a bit of space, straight ahead. Hits the accelerator, and he's beautifully tackled by Sandy Campbell. Portlock. Spina. Melrose. Canterbury offside. That makes it 8 penalties to 1 to East.
Well, they can't complain about that one.
This kick will make it 4 points the difference with 15 to go. He's missed it. It went off the side of his boot, and Steve Mortimer had quite a word with the referee before that kick. Kelly. Here's the last tackle. Kelly plays it forward. Johnson in a hole. Kicks ahead. Spina. And Johnson's going to be called out for using the knees in the tackle. Here it is.
No doubt here. Picking the ball up. Watch him drop.
Tobin. Anticipated by the defence. Hagan with Gillespie. Gilmester. Hastings. Kick and chase. Sigsworth. He's got it. And makes another good run.
Still had a great game, Sigsworth. Just made one mistake, really. That was when it was well up in the one line of defence when he scored that try. But apart from that, he's been a thorn in the eastern suburbs all day.
Robinson. He too has had a big game. Been a bit quiet the last 15 or 20 minutes, but he was there in the first half all the time. Langmack. Steve Mortimer. Sigsworth couldn't handle an awkward one, and East knocked it on too. Well, Arthur, what are you going to do, man? That's done. Johnson. Last tackle. Maybe a field goal now. Sigsworth muffed it. Portlock couldn't handle it. He was after it. Farrah's taken him down as he ran on after the play. Just couldn't blame Portlock for going after it. He had to stretch a bit and he couldn't drag it in. Canterbury feed. Mortimer with Langmack. Couldn't quite get there. Right on the line, the Bulldogs. Mortimer goes his head. Well played, Mortimer. It's hard to beat that. A hole opened up just right for Mortimer, like a bunny rabbit, to slip through. There he is. Look at that. Sigsworth. He's kicked the goal, and it's 20-8. Time almost up. Canterbury 20-8, and it could have been a lot closer than that. In fact, that's the siren. It's full time.
On Sunday, Australia played New Zealand on a quagmire at Carlaw Park. Last year, New Zealand had defeated Australia in the third test, and this was a chance to avenge that defeat. Considering the conditions, it was a great game, with Australia proving a little too strong in the end.
The referee today is Robin Whitfield from England. There he is. He signals time on, and we're underway as Joe Rapatis gets the test match started. Peter Sterling waits for it, and immediately running off Sterling is Shearer, put down right in the middle of that mud patch that you can see there, just outside his own quarter. Royce Simmons is the dummy halfman. Peter Tunks has first touch of the ball and driven back a couple of metres. In fact, driven back a few metres. Lost the ball too. Scramble for possession. Referee Whitfield runs in to adjudicate. Noel Cleals picked it up for Australia. Lucky break for the Aussies. A lost pass from Tunks early. Now here's Steve Roach out of one and runs straight into a crushing tackle from Olsen Filipina. And a penalty has been given to Australia. Plenty of talking out there to the referee and about the referee, I would think.
Well, this referee knows Australia's style of play and the Kiwi style of play. He had them in 83 here and in Australia. With this defence of New Zealand already in business, Ian.
A fine tackle from Filipina, but a terrible kick from Lewis to find touch, but he's done it. Now Simmons gets play underway with a pass from Sterling to Lewis and back to Tunks, but Tunks apprehended by Owen Wright and Kurt Sorensen coming in over the top. Mark Graham was also in there to lend a hand. So Tunks plays it. We're situated 32 metres out from the Australian line. This is Roach trying to offload. No one there to take the pass, though. 35 metres out from the Australian line now as Roach plays the ball. Simmons is dummy half. Don't forget we have the international numbering. You'll see the hooker Simmons and, of course, the New Zealand hooker playing in jumper number 9. Now we see the fullback for New Zealand, Darryl Williams, a man with a high reputation, only a youngster, having his first touch of the ball. Now New Zealand in possession as Bell gets it away to Joe Rapati, a very strongly built winger for New Zealand. He's 32 metres out from the New Zealand line. Dummy half is Wallace. Back to McGann. Kicking straight downfield, waiting for it is Shearer, but it's gone behind him. Picked up now, and he must have touched him because those players are very quick to reach him, and the referee signal play on, so he did get a hand for that.
Roach winding up, having plenty of work already, Roach. He was pretty keen this morning over breakfast. He said, I want to have a big one. He's certainly doing that. As Simmons goes for a little strut from dummy half and makes 4 or 5. Valuable play from Simmons.
We've seen Simmons do that so often in the interstate matches, making valuable ground from dummy half.
Here's Miles. Now there's players outside. Gary Jack gets a good pass to O'Connor. O'Connor comes back inside, gets out through one, and here's Kenny. Kenny heading for the line, and Kenny will score for Australia. Oh, great try from Kenny. Put it down by O'Connor and Jack, though. They set it up, and Kenny finished it off. A beauty. And the Kiwi crowd not happy. Oh, Kenny, red hot this afternoon in cold conditions.
The crowd booing Darryl because the referee may have impeded one of the New Zealand tacklers coming across in cover defence. You saw the referee hit the deck, and if we get a replay, you'll notice that one of the New Zealand covers was coming across.
Well, here it is now, the ball coming along the back line. Sterling got it out to Lewis. Now Lewis puts a nice ball up for Miles. Now here's the bust from Miles. Gets through the defence, puts a lovely ball up for Gary Jack. Quick hands on. Now, well, we can't really see that on the replay as O'Connor has the ball. Now he steps back inside. Now there's the referee there, and there's Kenny. Well, I don't know about that, Ian. I think it was a fair try in my money. I was watching the ball. And Australia leading New Zealand 4-0 at Carlaw Park. Back after the break, in possession Australia. As Sterling now gets it out to Lewis. Lewis on to Roach. Roach tried to slip the ball, but Gene Miles just too far away, so decided to take it. Very, very heavy conditions here, but not like the Carlaw Park we used to know. As Pearce gets a good ball out for Gene Miles again. Gene Miles handles it on to Kenny. Kenny almost out of the tackle, about 4 metres out from the line. Australia looking red hot at the moment and throwing everything to the Kiwis. Sterling, long floating pass, no good though. Lewis has to go back with it. Cleaned up by Shearer. He loses it. James Lewis has the ball for New Zealand. Well, a lucky escape for New Zealand then. 5G Australia on the attack here, Maurice, and looking good.
That was a scoring opportunity, but the pass from Sterling went astray. That ball is very, very slippery. The ground is, well, there's mud everywhere, and they're having a little trouble controlling the ball properly. As Sorensen makes a run across field, links up with Dean Bell, and Bell got to the quarter line before he was put down by Miles.
This Australian defence is right onto them, and Cooper will play it back. Out it comes now for the kick. And it'll go straight to O'Connor again, and he's mishandled, but it's behind him, so it's okay. Puts on the pace past Bell. Well, he's just going across the field, and he's got them all up there, slipped down, and that's a great run from O'Connor. Well, he's one foot of the Kiwis that time.
It's a wonder he didn't fall over himself. It's so slippery in that centre field area.
Went sideways like a crab and then straightened it up as Lewis gets it out to Pearce. Oh, almost an intercept it has as Lewis goes away with it, but Robin Whitfield says, no, thank you, come back. And that's almost a Brett Kenny play that Lewis pulled off.
One awful moment. I thought the referee was going to let it continue.
I did too. There, Maurice watching what happens back. I'm watching the play of the ball. Here it is again as the pass comes out through Lewis onto Oh, Lualai there. Well, if he had taken it cleanly, it would have been shut the gate. He's got plenty of pace, Lualai.
Play 32 metres out. Last tackle signalled by referee Robin Whitfield. Back with Sterling. The kick is back there for Williams. And Williams showing his pace, or trying to in these conditions. It's pretty difficult, but he's going
very strongly, Williams. O'Connor comes in it again and finally takes him, but that was a good run.
Well, that's exactly the sort of play that Lowe, the coach, there he is there, was saying this Williams is a very, very fast man, and even on this paddock he's quick.
Now, play situated 32 metres out from the New Zealand line. Referee Whitfield moves in and he's penalised the Australians for holding down in the tackle.
Hugh McGann was the player with the ball and not allowed
to get up and play. It was the ruling. Robin Whitfield from England.
New Zealand coach Graham Lowe hasn't had much sleep during the week. He's a bundle of nerves.
As his side, right on the halfway mark now. And Cooper giving it away to Owen Wright, but he's caught as Steve Roach came in to assist Wally Lewis with the tackle. The Aussies lead 4-0. Wallace to Cooper, and then to Olsen Filipina. That little kick through, he did that a lot last series, and he's able to kick it through. Still alive, that ball, and Filipina kicking ahead. Here's trouble for Australia as Lualai was chasing it. It's still there, kicked ahead, finally fallen on though by Dane O'Hara, and the referee says we'll start that tackle count again. New Zealand on the attack. Here it comes via Cooper to Filipina. Filipina 10 metres out. Now the Australian defence will have to work overtime as Mark Graham plays it, and the penalty's gone to the Kiwis. Interference in the play of the ball, I believe.
Yes, Australia tried to rake the ball away, and of course he's penalised him for that. And I think I'd rather give the 2 points of a try than Ian. The try was definitely on.
Looks at the posts again, deep breath, moves into the kick.
And it's a gift, 2 points. New Zealand's on the board. Australia 4, New Zealand 2 at Carlaw Park.
The rain has not stopped since daybreak this morning as the Kiwis come away with the ball again, and here's a bust now. This is that Cooper. He's got a good step, Cooper. He's a big half-back and made a good break then. But the Australian defence came in. Right, let's see now. Cooper with the ball again. They're using the back line pretty effectively as Bell gets one out. Gets it out to Prome. Prome tries to turn around in the tackle but can't. Kenny all over him. It's Wallace now, gets it out through Bell, and they go back to Cooper on the Lualai. Lualai turns around and they turn it back inside the Filipina, and he's brought down in a mud heap. There's plenty there. That's the wettest part of the ground so far. Cooper looking for runners. He gets Sorensen. Sorensen comes back and pops one up for McGann. McGann stops. Waits, gets out of one. Still going McGann. And they're almost to the 22, about 3 metres short. New Zealand now on the attack as big Mark Graham gets it out to Owen Wright. He gets it out to Prome. Prome brought down though with a good tackle from Kenny. Right round the ankles. Good stuff here as Owen Wright just chips for the line there. Little stab kick, and that'll force the scrum about 5 metres short of the Australian 22. Owen Williams, the big front row, who's the ball player, but here's O'Connor again, comes back in field. Very narrow boundaries here at Carlaw Park, only a couple of metres between the sideline or the touchline and the fence as Pearce picks it up and he belts his way another 2 metres. Royce Simmons, and how proud is he to be wearing that green and gold jumper today, and asked specifically would we say hello to Penrith back in Sydney. He's the proudest man in Auckland today. Okay, New Zealand with a ball. This is Williams. Got a good step, this Williams, but this time they nullify it. It's the man I was talking about coming through with Pearce to do the tackling. Here's the party, head down. Burrows his way into Crusher Cleal. He wraps him up though. They make another little bust, and this is Wallace, the hooker, another of the new caps. And incidentally, in this test side for New Zealand, they have players that are massed, and here's a break. Will come back as Bell streams downfield, puts the toe to it, the chase is on, but Australia will have it covered through Shearer, falls down on it, ball is loose and rolls into touch. Well, conditions here slippery, and another close one for Australia. Scrum pack now. It'll come back to New Zealand. It does too, and they run from the base of the scrum, but too much defence. They're pretty bunched too. I thought they might have got a little deeper, but away they go through Olsen Filipina, and he's only about 8 metres short now. New Zealand with a chance. They look to the blind side. Yes, they run that way. It's Mark Graham. Mark Graham stands and gets a great pass off the ground too as he was going down. Oh, gee, that was a good ball, and it went so close. They're only 1.5 meters short now as it comes out through Cooper. They get it on to Philippine, and he puts a little stab there, and Tunks will clean it up for Australia. Well, I don't know if that was the way to go. I thought he should have passed it.
Now Miles made another 10 metres. A good 10-metre game, that one. Play situated 35 metres out from the Australian line as Simmons got it across to Pearce. And the ball is loose as Pearce tried to flick it back. Roach was able to dive on it, though. They lost about 15 metres as Simmons made up 5 by running on his own. Steve Roach coming half. And Tunks has gone without it. Loose, picked up by New Zealand. Hugh McGann able to dive on it. The Kiwi crowd roar as their boys dive on it. Now blindside comes Crone, but he's put it down and they'll play the knock on. Well, there is obviously a huge amount of Kiwi support here, but there are some Australians in the crowd, Darryl. I did notice a team of Victorians here. Yes, the Rugby League is alive in Victoria. The Sunshine St Kilda Rugby League Club have a contingent here.
Yeah, good to see, isn't it? All the way from Victoria. Well, they'd be happy in this weather. Icicles coming out of the sky, very dark. But Australia come up with a scrum. Well, that's Robin Whitfield went down, but play still goes on as Miles gets it out to Gary Jack. Gary Jack makes a split. He's got Kenny onside. Inside, Kenny takes the ball. Oh, and he's just brought down. Still scrambling for the line. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Robin Whitfield says no, sir. Well, Kenny just crawled. He scrambled and rolled. He did everything he could to try and score that try. He scored it. He's awarded it. Well, he walked away. Robin Whitfield just walked straight back. But he's awarded the try. The Kiwi crowd not happy. Well, Kenny did everything to score that try. Here's the replay. Here's Gary Jack as he makes the bust. Now here's Kenny looming up on the inside. He gets the call. Jack holds the pass up perfectly. Wrong foot's Darryl Williams. Now here's Kenny down. He gets up, falls again, scrambling for the line. Now there's Robin Whitfield. And he just ran back to the 22, so it was a little hard. Well, if he didn't award the try, that'd have been a protest from the Australians because it was a fair try, but certainly Whitfield ran straight away. Now watch it again with us as Kenny slipped out of that tackle. He's down, not held, up, down, and not held, and he certainly was not held as he grounded the ball. That's a fair try. Another difficult angle. Round the corner kick, has a good look at the post. And there it goes, and this time he gets the points too. So Australia now will go on to 10 points over New Zealand 2. New Zealand now with a chance. And this is the danger time now for the Aussies. Right, the ball with a wraparound through Sorensen, but they're going everywhere. Here's big Mark Graham as he winds up, and they're deep inside the 22, about 14 metres out from the line now. Out it comes, they're deep. Here's Sorensen trying to lick up. He does with McGann, but a beautiful tackle from Peter Sterling brought him down. Watch for a right. He gets it out to Mark Graham, but he can't handle it. The wet conditions, he's put it down. Folks over him like the proverbial wet blanket. Again, they're looking for runners, but New Zealand standing there at the moment. No one too keen to run. Philippine gets it out to Bell. Bell going at crab-like. He gets it back to Rapati. Rapati winds up. Still going Rapati. Belts his way out. Why don't they bring him down? But they're still 14 metres out. And they've lost the ball. Australia will come up with a ball. Who's on the bottom? Miles. She's played well, Miles. He's won every loose ball. He's like a dog with a bone. He's straight in on them. Well, that was a crucial time for Australia, and they weathered the storm pretty well. Running out of time in this first half. Around about 30 seconds to go on our clock, but there has been a few stops for injury. As Tunks brings it up and takes it out of the 22. So Australia back out of the danger zone now. And there's the half-time hooter. Remind you of the score, Australia leading 10 points to 2 over New Zealand. Umbrella City here today. Auckland, fantastic weather right through the week. It's been absolutely beautiful, and the heavens opened up early this morning in the dark hours, and by gee, it hasn't let up the rain. Darryl Williams now from centre field. Oh, a bad kick. I mean, he's found the line, but he's made about a metre, and that's all. Right, let's see if the Kiwis can come back now. They need to get some points on the board very, very quickly. The runners are coming through in right. They're pretty deep this time. Now, Sorensen winds up. They meet him. He drops the ball, Sorensen too. And these conditions getting worse. The ground really getting chopped up. And that muddy section, as we talked about 30 metres out, is starting to get wider and wider. Wind has changed direction too. The rain is now blowing into the the broadcast area, where before it was behind us, so it's a swirling wind here at Carlaw Park, probably helping the Australian side, if anything. Scrum spins around, Robin Whitfield having a good look. Sterling went in and ferreted for it. It's still not out, though. Sterling's pushing and shoving. Oh, and Prome throwing a couple there, but Sterling will come up with the ball and does so. Now Simmons gets it out to Lewis. Onto Kenny with a beautiful round-the-corner pass to Miles. By geez, got beautiful hands, Kenny, no matter what the conditions. The Shearer goes for a gallop. He only makes 2 or 3 metres, though, and he's brought down. Simmons directing play. He looks for Tunks. No, he goes for himself and made very, very valuable 4 or 5 metres, and they've taken play right onto the 22. Right, Australia now with a chance. Looking for Roach, but they go the other side to Pearce. Pearce has got Miles off him, but they're waiting for Miles, and they take him down, ball and all. It'll come back to Pearce at dummy half. Pearce runs from there. He thought he saw a gap, but nothing doing there. Last tackle. Watch for the kick. In these conditions, it'll be a raffle. There it is from Lewis. Puts it up. Not a bad kick either. Up they go for it. Loose ball. And New Zealand through Sorensen. No, but the ball loose again. And Gary Jack has come up with it, is it? Gary Jack, yes. William Maurice, another good tactic, because they've still got a chance to attack now.
Tackle can't be started, of course, as Roach takes play up to the 10-metre mark, and this is a perfect position for Australia now. 10 metres out. They've only used up 1 tackle. Peter Sterling calling for it from Simmons. Sterling has it now. Running off him was Lewis. Lewis steps. The pass back inside, but it's gone astray. Picked up by Tunks. And Tunks making good ground. Takes play up only about 8 metres out from the Kiwi line. Now, there's a play on as Simmons gets it away to Sterling. The kick through, that was the play. There's Shearer chasing it, and Shearer almost getting a hand to it. In fact, that is a try. That is a try.
Well, Huey McGahn is blowing up, and I tell you what, this referee has got to stand there and award a try. He just says, right, that's it, and runs back to the 22 again. Well, he's run back all right, and he's awarded the try. Well, Shearer was racing for the ball. I must say that I didn't think that he was getting there first, but the referee saw it another way. Let's have another look. I'm not sure that we'll be able to tell you any more clearly after this, but there was the grubber kick from Sterling. It's over there somewhere, boys. And there's O'Hara. Yes, well, Shearer did get underneath O'Hara's foot, in fact, and may well have got a hand to it. O'Connor in his first test match. Australia already lead 14-2. Kicks it beautifully, sweetly, right over the black dot. It's Australia now 16, New Zealand 2 here at Carlaw Park. Niebling has come on for Australia. Brian Niebling has come on, and Peter Tunks has left the field. Bad luck for Tunks. He's had a strong game. The Queenslander coming on, Brian Niebling. He'll be fresh and a big asset to Australia now. He's a rugged defender. Okay, now New Zealand have taken play down to the 22. Can they get some points on the borders? It goes through Cooper. It goes on the right. He's just inside of Australia's territory now. He's tackled by Niebling and also Roy Simmons. Comes back through Cooper. He's looking for runners. That's Mark Graham now. He's made a couple of metres inside. And there's Tunks. Great shot of him holding that wretched knee that's given him so much trouble this year. And he's shown so much courage playing with it. Right, New Zealand deep in the 22, and they're nice and deep, but they're going to use the ball. Cooper with a nice pass. It goes out to Lualai, who's been very, very quiet this match. It comes back to Dean Bell. He dances around. He can't go anywhere. Now it's on to Prome. Prome makes a couple of metres. Gets a nice ball off of Bell. Bell's got a chance. He's got some outside support, and Bell has scored for the Kiwis. Oh, and listen to them go up now. Kiwi. They're in for their first try. The man who plays for Eastern Suburbs in Sydney, Bell, has gone over for the Kiwis. The break made from Gary Prome. Well, that's the one they needed. Graham Lowe shows no emotion through a game of football at all. Well, here's the replay now. Now, James Lualai stood in that tackle. He got it back to Bell, so he figured twice in this movement, which is a great bit of play. It then went on to Prome. Now, Prome stood up the Australian defence. He was wrapped up there by Niebling, but he managed to get the ball to Bell, and he had plenty of support. Roy Simmons couldn't catch him. Gary Jack went after him, and O'Connor got him, but it was too late. A Kiwi try. Yeah, it was all Bell, wasn't it? Figured twice, started it, got the pass away, got up quickly, and finished off the movement with a great try, and that was a very good New Zealand effort. Olsen Filipina now, 16-6. very vital kick. Every point needed in conditions like this. He doesn't go back more than 2 paces. He's got it in the air. He's got the 2 points. It's now 16 points to 8. Australia leading New Zealand.
They're trailing by the 8 points at this stage. 16 to 8, Australia lead as Sorensen takes it. And a one-handed pass to Filipina, onto Lualai, onto O'Hara. O'Hara caught by Shearer right on the halfway mark. They crash to the deck. Now here's Cooper. Running off him is McGann. And he's just inside the Australian territory now. Cooper again. Wallace. Slips the pass for Bell. Back to Olsen. Filipina. Filipina saw a gap and stands and able to offload to Wallace. Running across field. Can't link up with Rapati though. That's what he was trying to do. And finally put down, but he's about 15 metres inside the Australian half. Here's Cooper. Across to Graham, juggles at Graham, slips the pass beautifully to McGann. McGann can't offload though. Last tackle signal for New Zealand as Cooper goes to dummy half, putting the ball in the air. Plenty of chasers. Up they go for it, and Gary Jack does it magnificently. Beautiful take from Gary Jack. That ball's very slippery. That's hard enough as it is, but that New Zealand defence following through. He did very, very well. As Roy Simmons now made another 5 metres, played it to Jack, and Jack, creeping across field, was able to pick up another 3-metre gain. There's still another replacement coming on. Number 15 is Ron O'Regan. He's going on to replace James Lualai.
Australia in possession, almost centre field in the mud heap, about midway between the half and the quarter. New Zealand's into the ground. The Sterling ducks back inside, giving the Australians a bit of latitude to line out now. Cleal almost with a buster. He's got Gary Jack inside him and a good ball. Jack off the ground. He's got Pearson. Pearson's in and that'll cinch it up. Well, a great try. That was Folks. That was Folks, and won't he be a happy boy? Scored a try in his first test match. Oh, he just broke from broken play and galloped over. Great play from Stephen Folks. Have a look at it now. Now here's Cleal. He was the man that made the first initial break. He slipped that beautiful pass to Gary Jack. And right up looming beside him was Stephen Folks. Referee Whitfield is right on the line, chased by the Kiwis, but over beside the post. And there's the real murk that you can see now as Gary Jack makes the break. And Stephen Folks, his first test for Australia, crashes over for 4 points. Gary Jack has had a magnificent game today. By gee, he's been everything, and the crowd's starting to leave here now. If anything, we thought the conditions might suit the Kiwis, but they've certainly played better wet weather football as O'Connor from right in front stabs it over. The flags are up, and the scoreboard will tick over to 22 points to 8. Ball was chipped off with Ropati now. Tried to put the short trap, and they've come up with a 2, so they haven't given up yet as they bring it across now to Prone. Prone still going. He makes a little break. He lobs one over the top to Filipina. Chance here as McGann turns it back inside. Rapati winds up and the Australian defence beats him. They're only a few metres out now. McGann goes through O'Regan onto Filipina. Belts his way to 10 metres out. Big chance for New Zealand then, but the Australian defence right to the task here today. Cooper gets it on to O'Regan now. He's centre field, and the Kiwis wind very deep on the blind side. We'll see what happens, which way they go. They come that way through Mark Graham. There's a long floating pass out for Rapati. Not a good ball. He had to lean forward to take it. And there's the full-time herder as Cooper puts it up in the air. Kiwis pouring through, but it's loose. We'll see what happens here. It's loose. Ball being jungled away, and Robin Whitfield says that's it. We'll call it a day. And Australia have convincingly won the first test here at Carlaw Park, 22 points to 8 in a very, very torrid encounter in conditions that are absolutely unbelievable.
The match of the round was the Channel 10 NEC big game at Redfern Oval between South Sydney and Penrith. Penrith went into the game minus probably their 4 best players. Darryl Broman out injured, Brad Izzard, and also Greg Alexander, and more importantly their hooker and captain Roy Simmons on duty with the test team in New Zealand. South Sydney, of course, hot favourites to take that out because of that fact of so many players being out in the Penrith side. But as it turned out, the game was a great character and motivational booster for the Penrith outfit.
Welcome to the NEC big game in round 18 of the Winfield Cup between South Sydney and Penrith. The match today comes from Redfern Oval. Well, the Rabbitohs were too good when they met the Panthers at Penrith Park in the first round. The scoreline 15-8 in their favour. And as we look at the premiership table, the Rabbits are still doing fine. They're on 25 points, level with Canterbury, with that club winning yesterday. And jointly, they're just 1 point behind front-runners Manly and Parramatta. Meantime, the Panthers, well, they share 5th placing with the Balmain Tigers. Mario Fenech leads the Rabbitohs again today, and they're certainly intent on a win to cement their top 3 position. Their full team is Cruikshank, Ross Baker, the Moon Brothers, DeJura, Coleman, Chisholm, Davidson, Gould, Rampling, Fenech and Roberts. The Panthers, they made the top 5 in '85, created history in doing so, and their main aim this year is to go just one better and finish in that cherished top 3. Here's their team rundown. Robards, Green, Bevan, Gonzalez, Lydiard, Clements, Foster, Howell, Horton, Cartwright, Goodwin, Longhurst and Gerard. Certainly cut about, isn't it? The man in charge is Kevin Roberts. South Sydney running from left to right. The match started by Neil Baker. And immediately it's in the hands of David Lydiard. Beautiful day in Sydney. Quite chilly. As Goodwin plays it, captaining the Penrith team today, Gerard. That's Chris Houghton, a centre winger come forward these days. And a charge down. This is a chance here for South. Rampling couldn't handle it. That was very close. It's Cartwright wearing the number 10. No score in the NEC big game, South and Penrith. Gerard running off Howell. Getting back for Foster. And they've reached the halfway line now, using the blind side to its fullest advantage. Clements puts that kick way down the ground. It might go in touch in goal. No, it's gone over the touchline. So it'll be a scrum about 5 metres out from the South line. It's a good kick by Clements. He got right behind it and stabbed it. And his judgment was just fine. Roberts is pointing to the 3 quarters out wide to get behind their lock forwards' feet. I don't know that Roberts should be doing that. If they're offside, penalise them. If that's simple. So South with the ball 10 metres out from their own line. This fellow won our Man of the Match award on Monday night, Les Davidson. And this is his partner in crime, Roberts. Tackled on the 22. Gould. Gerard went very keenly on the charge down mission from Marker, and it was good work by Gerard. It has forced the mistake off the boot of Phil Gould. 0-0, and a penalty goes to South. A lot of scrum penalties. And now he's talking to Longhurst. 5 scrum penalties in the match so far. There's Jason Moon getting some attention.
Souths have made a couple of breaks down the blind side. They've worked the ball to the centre and then taken the ball back to where they came from. I think Penrith would be far better served in defence to split their centres, to play a centre aside rather than playing them together.
Roberts with that wide front row forward play again. Chisholm wasn't expecting it. Wouldn't surprise me if Souths were to throw this ball back to Baker, maybe not on this set of 6, but shortly, even just to grab a drop goal to break the deadlock. it can change a team's mental attitude to a football game, even if you're behind just by 1 point to 0. And it's not a bad play. You've seen Canterbury use it a lot. 5 tackles gone now. Here's Gould swinging it back to Dejura, to the blind for Coleman. He got the ball around the corner. I thought it might have been a touch forward, but Brett Ross has tackled, and it's a turnover. Cartwright with the big blue elastic bandage on the thigh. This is Goodwin. Now Longhurst was looking for a runner on the blind. He had to take a dummy half run. Houghton. Fennick around the legs. Gould over the top. Clements. Keen chase by David Lydiard, but Jason Moon was equal to the task. Dejura, Coleman, David Moon.
Well, Penrith have introduced a lot of variety into their play by using a big kicking game. They've used kicks for touch to come up with scrums.
Goodwin stretches the ball as it turned over quickly. Gonzalez fading to the outside. Dummy half is David Green.
Yeah, Penrith have used chips for touch, but they've also used little kicks over the top that they're being trying to recover, and I think that's a good tactic against a strong South Sydney defence when that's what the Rabbitohs have got. Penrith haven't got a result from it yet, but it might be just a matter of keeping trying.
Houghton, another strong run, taking play inside the 22. Gerard, Gary Howe. They're only 11 metres out from the line. Foster had to pass it back about 7 metres to find Clements, and this is Gonzalez. 5 gone. Clements calling for it. Here's Clements. He puts a grubber kick through. Rampling dives on it. So the first of 6 tackles for South now. Gould with a settler. Fennick. Still no score in the South Penrith NEC big game. Roberts. That's 4 tackles. So Baker is folding around behind the ruck now. As Rampling makes a half break, 25 metres out. Gould and Baker are both on one side of the ruck, and the ball turning over to Penrith. Mistake by Souths. As we find Houghton tackled, and away goes Green. Gerard, Goodwin. Foster, Clements, Robards. Taken by Baker. That's 5 gone for the Panthers. Bevan. His kick is high. Getting underneath it is Cruikshank. He was in the in goal. So it's out to the 22 for the place kick restart. Here's the take by Cruikshank. You'll see that he was actually in the in goal. Houghton. Cartwright. Well, by and large, it's been a battle of brawn in the first quarter of this match. Chip over the top. Penrith coming up with it. Bevan couldn't get a clean pass away. And the referee is ordering another scrum about 5 metres on south side.
Once again, it was Penrith persisting here with a little chip kick over the top to try and break up the South Sydney defence. Once again, they didn't get a result from it, but it could be just a matter of time.
South, another differential penalty, and now there's a disagreement in there. A couple of punches thrown. So they've both been sent to the sin bin, these gentlemen, Fennick and Goodwin. 10 minutes in the bin. That's the incident on replay. So both the skippers are going to the bin for 10 minutes. An interesting match in more ways than one. This, as I said to you earlier, Penrith could be out of the 5. Conversely, Canterbury has joined Souths in 3rd. And a loss by the Rabbits will see the Premiers getting much closer to that treasured top 3. Lydiard. I think some of David Lydiard's attacking flair is lost on the wing. I don't think there's any question he was, if not the best, he was the second best fullback going around shortly after his return from England. This is Clements looking for runners, but there were none. Foster. Oh, he's over the line. Oh, South Sydney's defence. Suddenly it became non-existent. I mean, you could have imagined a bloke like Gerard or Goodwin running over the top of these defenders, but little Henry Foster, on the NEC replay, he's made the South Sydney defence look absolutely awful. He beat the fullback and a front rower, and he's under the crossbar for the first points of the game. And from right in front, here's Bevan now, picking up the extras. And so Penrith leads South Sydney by 6 points to 0. If you had the vantage point he's got, you'd miss a couple yourself. Scrum will go down inside the Penrith 10-metre line. The kickoff not fielded by Penrith. It'll be a Penrith feed.
At Redfern Oval, that is the difficult corner to receive kickoffs. The sun comes down and makes it extremely difficult for receivers, wingers and fullbacks to pick the ball up.
Played by Foster. And that's Lydiard who's tackled. Houghton. It's probably early for us to say that he's made the transition successfully, but from what we've seen today, he's done a fine job, Chris Houghton.
He's got an advantage for a back row forward. He's a big fellow with plenty of pace, but from having played in the centres, he's also got a step, and that makes him somewhat like Noel Cleel. Big men with a step in the middle of the rucks are hard to hold.
Cruikshank bringing it back with memories of his missed tackle on Foster probably still uppermost in his mind. He'll be doing a hard job to get rid of those memories. He'll have to. It's a job for a very confident player, fullback. Jason Murn, he's away down the wing, comes to Robards and loses his footing. Roberts, Rampling. Well, they've got the numbers on the left. They had them as Rampling died with the ball. They've still got them. Gould knew that. He gave it to Coleman. He gives it on to Baker. That's a beautiful tackle. A grassing tackle from Ben Gonzalez. Davidson looking for runners. He finds Chisholm. He'll score. Well, Penrith just totally went to sleep there. Anybody in rugby league at any level will tell you, first man in low, the second has got to come over the top and smother the ball up. But nobody did anything here to resist the second row forward. Davidson getting that ball away for Chisholm to go in and score.
The defence on both sides has left a lot to be desired, but it was a great ball there from Davidson. He popped it up to Chisholm. Chisholm stepped off the right foot. Robards was slow in coming forward, and that was the result of it.
He, as I said, was our man of the match on Monday. He's a very good forward, Les Davidson, and this was an excellent pass, keeping in mind what I said earlier about the Penrith defence. And Chisholm goes in for a 4-pointer. Baker with just a 10-metre kick from right in front. And we're back level again in the NEC big game. 6 points all, Souths and Penrith. Longhurst. Gary Howell. 3 tackles gone. Cartwright. Taken high by Gould. Fennick was in there. Now it's to Gerard. He shows it and goes himself. 5 metres from the line. This is their last as Clements gets away from Coleman. Gets the kick in. Fielded in there by Cruikshank. But it's a drop goal. It went over the crossbar. I must admit I didn't see him drop it to the ground for a drop kick. And after all of this, one could be excused for thinking that he would have dropped off a drop goal mission, but he hadn't. And under unbelievable pressure, he was able to get the drop kick in. Gerard out the back. There's a knock on there. I would have thought the ball was lost behind him. So there's Gerard losing the ball. It certainly came out the back. But a knock on ordered and another scrum with the siren about to sound. Baker with a little chip. Bevan went for it. And that's the end of the first half as Bevan is tackled. 11 metres into South territory. The scoreline, Penrith 7, South Sydney 6. Here's a sideline comment from Graham Hughes.
It'd have to be a very, very disappointed George Piggins at half-time. South Sydney in that first half, while the defence up the middle of the rucks was leaving a lot to be desired, and you could be excused for thinking that it was South who had a number of their top players out today and not Penrith. An important 10 or 15 minutes in this first half coming up, second half coming up now, and South Sydney forwards are the ones that really do have to now start to put a stamp on this game of football.
Very big welcome again to our overseas viewers in Canada, England, Europe. And a very special cheerio to Brian Lockwood and his patrons at that North of England hotel that he's in charge of these days. Ball played by Jason Moon. And so that this big fellow can go back to his seat and enjoy the football, let's go to the sidelines. Here's Graham with Don Lane.
Don, plenty of trouble for the South Sydney side.
Well, as someone said, I think it was you, that when you start believing the publicity about a team being depleted, this is the way you play. I mean, what I was most disappointed in was that you got the ball, you're in possession, and you're in an attacking position, and you allow yourself to turn over the ball after 6 tackles without doing anything attacking. I reckon they got to get the concentration up, and I think their front row, South Sydney's front row, is not servicing in the way they should.
Well, who are they looking for in the second half to pull them out of this?
Well, I reckon the guys in the front row, and I think some more balls distribution from Phil Gould, and I imagine, you know, a bit more tenacity in defense, and they'll be all right. They're allowing too many gaps. Everybody is moving the way they want to here. It's perfectly, and it's also upsetting that it's such a badly played game. I mean, the ball handling is horrendous here today.
All right, well, let's see if they can get out of it. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Another Penrith penalty right in front, 30 metres out. Kick left the boot nicely. He's got it. So Bevan raises the flags, and South Sydney trailing Penrith by 3 points now. 5 tackles gone now for Penrith. Gary Howell comes out from dummy half, puts the kick up, and Cruikshank's made a mistake. It's come down to David Green. They've got 6 more tackles now, Penrith. How much more can South Sydney resist as this Penrith attack? And they get a penalty, so this will be another 2 points. Couldn't be any closer to the uprights. Penrith now has held the ball for 102 tackles. South's 71. And Bevan picks up an extra 2 points. So Penrith's lead now extends to 11-6 over the home team, South Sydney. Gould. Good tackle by Gerard. Rampling has gone down again. He was just injured there right in front of you, Graham. He's not 100%, that's for sure, isn't he?
No, well, he's tried to carry the shoulder the last 4 or 5 minutes, and he's been falling off a couple of tackles. He just managed to fall off another of Gary Howell just here on the sideline. He's called out to the bench saying his shoulder's no good. I'd be looking to the bench for David Boyle.
A penalty goes to South. Cruikshank put the kick in. He got a checkered passage through, And the referee has ruled intentional harassment there of the chaser. Already has signed with South for 2 more seasons. And this one he's got. So 11 points to 8 in favour of Penrith over South Sydney. You're watching the NEC big game. Let's take a sideline comment now from Graham.
Having a lot of trouble, this South Sydney lineup, to try and break this Penrith line, especially out wide. I'd be looking for the likes of Coleman or Baker to try little chip kicks. Baker went along the ground inside the 22 only a few moments ago. The chip is on because Penrith only have the fullback dying back Robards at the moment. No second line of defence.
Coleman's pass is picked up on the half volley by Dejura. Dejura's up to the 22 line. Roberts has gone down. He's up and on his way again. Gould to Coleman. Coleman running towards the corner. Floats it out. David Green touched it, I thought. Yes, it's 6 more tackles. And the ball will be played by David Cruikshank. It comes away with Jason Moon. He's about 8 metres out from the Penrith line. Will Ken Souths get out of this mess they've got themselves into? Here's Phil Gould. Only a couple of metres away from the line now. He's indicating 3 tackles gone. A long time spent at the play the ball. Fennick goes for a dummy half run. He has the ball taken off him. And it's played by Houghton for Penrith. And a penalty goes to Penrith. He's saying to the South markers, you're either in there or you're not. Chisholm to the 22. Coleman, Dejura, Baker, Cruikshank. Roberts. He's kept pumping away. Roberts all day. Just hasn't been able to unload that vital pass. And here's a blindside play by Baker. Baker very close to the line. The referee says turnover. So by that indication, he's short. Have a look at it on this camera angle. Baker was looking at the line. Down he comes. There's no doubt that he's short. Jason Moon across the ground, still going. Not held. And now he is. Davidson. Fennick is coming off, Graham.
And Andrew McElbur, the man in 26. Fennick's ankle's gone again.
Brett Ross with a big run down the sideline. Inside for Baker, inside for David Moon. Here comes the match-winning try, is it? No! The defence gets him about 2 metres out from the line. Played by Brett Ross, by David Moon. Across to Coleman. On to Baker. Long ball by Baker. It's going to be Jason Moon to pick it up. No, Les Biles has tried to pick it up. He can't. And Penrith, it's a penalty to South. It's a penalty to South Sydney. Touch judge in, bringing on Greg Evans in 26 for Souths. A real thriller of a finish, a match that probably hasn't risen to any great heights, but the closeness of that scoreboard always retains the intensity of the crowd, and still it's South Sydney trying to whittle away that Penrith lead of 11 points to 8. A match that, well, Souths were expected to win. But at the moment, they're trailing by 3. Here's David Moon running off a Craig Coleman pass. Bronco Dejura comes inside him. And he's tackled 11 metres out. David Green made the tackle. On the blind side, it's Les Biles. Biles is 5 metres out. 5 tackles gone for the Rabbitohs now. Played by Biles. Out to Coleman. Coleman puts it up. They've resorted to the air. Down it comes. Stacks on the mill. And I think it's no try. Let's have a look at it. He's rolling a line drop out. He's ruled that Longhurst forced the ball. South get a penalty. Well, heavens above. They've had some opportunities here in the dying minutes to grab that elusive try. Gould plays it on one.
South's got a big line out here to the right.
Coleman's kick in the end goal, and Brett Lobb it is that tries to run it out. Tackled in goal, another line drop out for Penrith. Kids on the field, the siren has sounded. Roberts hadn't heard it apparently, and Penrith have come down from the mountains, minus their star players, and have come out in front 11 points to 8. Foster, a try for the Panthers. Bevan, 3 goals, and Clements a drop goal. And for Souths, Chisholm a try, and Baker 2 goals. Canterbury 20, East 8 yesterday. Cronulla 28, Parramatta 14 at the stadium. Canberra 38, Western Suburbs 6. Penrith 11, Souths 8. And Manly 14, Illawarra 12.
At Brookvale, 18 minutes into the match, Manly and Illawarra were deadlocked at 2-2. But Owen Saunders notched up Illawarra's first try, and with the conversion, they led 8 points to 2. Manly, without 5 key players, responded 6 minutes later, with forward Phil Daly powering over the line to level the scores at 8-8, the half-time score. 3 minutes into the second half, Manly looked dangerous, with a great run from Des Hasler. Mal Cochran backs up, but is impeded in the chase. Referee Bill Harrigan ruled Manly a penalty try without any hesitation, and with the conversion, Manly hit the front 14 points to 8. But Illawarra weren't to be outdone, with Alan McIndoe going in near the corner. With the conversion unsuccessful, Manly held on to win the match narrowly, 14-12.
Back home at the Eel Stadium, one of Parramatta's favourite sons, Mighty Mick Cronin, made his comeback after 5 months out of the game with an eye injury. 35-year-old Crow, as he's known, received an enormous reception when he played in the Eels reserve grade side for a full match. But the Crows' successful return was the only good news at Parramatta. After a promising start which saw Mark Coker send Mick Delroy flashing over, followed by this try set up by Paul Taylor for the zip-zip man Steve Ella, the Eels led 12-4 at the break. But in the second half, Cronulla stormed back. Mark McGaw sent Sean Watson in for his first try, and the Eels' lead was trimmed to 14-10. Watson went in again soon after some good lead-up work by Eddinghausen. And with Watson's conversion, the Sharks were in front 16-14. Gavin Miller's learned his trade well in England with his great pass to send Craig Diamond in to score, and the Sharks led 22-14. Finally, a crossfield kick by Phil Hurst with some work from Stuart Raper, and Mark McGaw throws himself at the post to score. The Sharks 28-14 winners.
At Seaford Oval, the Magpies went in after 6 minutes when Rod Pethybridge made a 40-metre break before unloading to Lee Crooks, who promptly spilled it. But Wilfred Williams regathered for the 4-pointer. Shortly after, though, the paper-thin Western Suburbs defence opened right up. Mal Meninga, who many thought was unlucky not to go to New Zealand, had a big game with the boot and in attack. 7 different Raiders touched down in the match, and at the final whistle, it was a slaughter, 38-6.
Well, on to Tooheys Monday night football. St George versus Balmain under lights at the Sydney Cricket Ground. This would probably be the last throw of the dice for the Saints outfit. They have to win to keep that very faint hope alive of reaching the semi-finals. Balmain, on the other hand, well, they can probably afford one more loss. And they were looking to their test men who were trying to back up after the weekend of football in Auckland to try and get them the very valuable 2 points, because the following weekend they had a bye situation, and again that was going to support that move for the Tigers' push for the top 5.
O'Connor kicks off, and so the Tigers coming up with the ball just outside their 22, played there by Maguire. Paul Sirenen out to the 32. Bridge. His kick going down to Walford. Not a good kick, because St George have got, well, they've got 6 tackles and they're only 5 metres on their side of halfway. Burgess to play it. This is Guida. Third tackle there now just into Balmain's area. This is Walsh. Met and pulled down keenly by the Balmain players, Clark and Conlon. And now they're on their 5th tackle. There's a long ball goes out. Johns couldn't take it. It's covered up there by Gartner. And this is Sirenin. On the Pat Hill stand side of the ground. Bridge. Myler. Long pass out to Conlon. Quick hands to Jack. Even quicker away to Gale. He puts on a little spurt. Walford has to chase him and brings him down and takes him into touch. About 5 metres into Saints' area. Now watch this again. The tackle is made by Walford. Gale submits. And then he's pulled across the touchline. 10 metres out from the line. Saints on their 2nd tackle. Away to Haddock. That's Funnell trying to get that ball inside for Walsh. 3rd tackle. Guida across the park. Knocked down. Should be 6 more. Well, he's ruled that it was knocked backwards by the Saints. I'll tell you, it was knocked down by Balmain. It should have been 6 more. The raking kick by Young. Oh, hands went for it. And it's a line drop out to restart for Balmain. So a little kick there by Craig Young, beautifully placed into a deep in goal. And still they're just outside the Balmain 22. And a pass by Guida infield. It was picked up by Conlon, spread away now to Maguire, to Pearce. Here comes Schofield on the outside. They're over the halfway with Wayne Pearce giving it to Gary Schofield, and Schofield is pulled down by Steve Morris. Down on the St George 32-metre line, away from Gartner to Bridge and on to Elias. He gives it to Myler, and Myler is away from one. He flicks it out the back. It's picked up by Makito. He crosses the 40-metre line, and he's tackled midway between 22 and halfway on the St George end of the field. Ball played by Makito, fed by Elias. It's with Clark now to the 32. A hand off to Elias and given to Bridge. A long ball for Conlon. Conlon to Schofield. Schofield cuts out Jack and Gartner. Russell, you were entitled to catch that. Here's Maguire. Turning it back for Clark. The Tigers looking dangerous. This is Schofield. It's gone out wide to Pearce, and Pearce is tackled 9 metres out from the St George line. Benny Elias swings it to the right to Schofield. He cuts out Myler. He finds Russell Gartner. Gartner turns it inside for Schofield. Schofield flicks it out the back for Conlon. Conlon to Maguire. Back to Conlon. Now Elias. And Elias is tackled 5 metres away from the line. 5 tackles gone. Elias kicking the ball ahead, and it's going to be a St George play the ball. So some dangerous moments there for St George. Morris. This is Funnell. Walsh. Linane. That kick from Linane's looking good. Bounced on its point and it's gone back infield. Gale is back for it. Here goes Gale. Well tackled by Guida.
Gale's got plenty of pace, but he probably elected to go the wrong way. Then he ran into a lot of St George defence. He had Gary Jack with him here and only the winger to beat.
Oh, Sirenen's put the ball down, picked up by Russ Gartner. And I'll tell you what, just as well he did, because there was a definite chance for St George if they had have been able to get possession on the advantage. There was a bit of clear space in front of about 2 or 3 of them. But Gartner was around on the opposite wing to the one that he's employed on tonight. Here's Linane. He's got the fullback to beat. Goes for the kick, and he's come up with the football. And Linane will play the ball. That's the first tackle. He's restarted the tackle count. Played back to Walford. It's gone over to Fafita. Now it's with Selby. Selby gets it away. It was touched by Balmain, and it's a penalty. Well, I would have thought that was raked back into the hands of Conlon.
Oh, Conlon was offside for sure. No, definitely offside. That's the right decision by Barnes. It went forward off a Balmain hand, and Conlon was standing there waiting for it.
Well, the penalty has been given to the Saints, and it's an absolute sitter. Oh, for sure. For sure, Conlon was offside. His kick brings up the flag. So there they are, the first points in Tooheys Monday Night Football. The Saints 2, the Tigers yet to score. Walsh. 10 metres into Balmain's area, 5 tackles gone. Lanane. That's not a bad kick, although Jack's come up from fullback on the fly. Not a bad kick. It's put the Australian fullback in full motion. Right down the ground, he picks up Scotty Gale, and Gale is tackled by Walford. Away from Jack to Conlon. They're 15 metres out from the line as Conlon shows the ball. Takes it to ground. Schofield had something to say. I don't know that it was to Conlon. Marquito across to Sirenen. Sirenen trying to fend them off. And Rick Walford goes in under the ball, smothering it up. Clark, Marquito, Gale, Jack, and there's a no, it's a forward pass, says the referee. I was about to utter, there's the first try of the match. But Barnes saw a forward pass, and most definitely he was right from Gale to Jack. And there's Steve McCrory, the challenger for Jeff Fennick's title on Friday week. Tackle midway 22 halfway on the Balmain end of the ground. Away now for Conlon, holds it back, gets it away for Schofield. Flick pass inside for Gartner, over the halfway, picks up Conlon. Conlon goes down inside the 32, the pass is forward. Well, he seemed to have ample time to give a decent pass to Schofield. I see Benny's going into the nightclub business at West Ryde. Casey's is the name of the joint. Well, it's not a joint, it's a good place, they say it's going to be.
And it opened this week.
Oh, did it? You were there for opening night, of course, Bill, as the ball is played back to Benny. And away as it goes now to Gary Bridge. He puts the kick in, and it's Burgess coming outside the 32. He's making a good run of about 25. He's over the halfway. He's got it to Walford. Gale's got him, though, in one stride and puts him to the ground about 15 metres out from the Balmain line. By Jove, there's plenty to enthuse about here at the cricket ground tonight. These two teams are really high-flying. They're throwing it about. And Fafita is tackled 20 metres out from the Balmain line. From Morris to Lanane, this is Funnel. Clark hanging on with Elias over the top. Play right in the centre of the cricket ground as Saints run towards the Randwick end, and Morris does a 360, and he seemed to lose the ball. He's able to regather. It's played and gone across to the blinder. Haddock, he holds it back, finds big Craig Young. Young, 5 metres out, holds it up. Sirenen knocks on. No, he's knocked it backwards, he said. Now the touch judges come in from the far side.
Yeah, this was for a late tackle in the back play.
This is the incident that has given St George the penalty. It was that tackle by Paul Sirenen on the St George runner. Quite an acute angle. About 20 metres in from the showground side. Gets it off the mound very well. It's a goal. Another 2-pointer to Michael O'Connor. The Saints lead the Tigers by 4 points to 0. So out on the full off the boot of Perry Haddock gives Balmain the feed to this scrum right in the middle of the cricket ground, midway 22 halfway, Saints into the field. Over to Myler. Myler stands and gets a one-handed pass back inside to Marquito. He does likewise, and it's been put down there by Maguire. St George spread the ball, but they can't do anything about it as Selby knocks on, and there's the siren bringing the end of the first half with Saints leading Balmain 2 penalty goals to Mike O'Connor, 4 points to 0 the score. Just over 12,000 people officially here at the cricket ground tonight. 12,354 as the cameras beam into the Blawongal and then shooting down back around towards the Pat Hill stand.
Tony Myler is the man that's gone. I thought he was struggling in that first half. He missed quite a few first-up tackles. The man that's gone out there is John Davidson in 15, with Scott Gale moving to 5'8". I think you'll see that both Gale and Bridge will swap around on a lot of occasions when Balmain are feeding this football.
Burgess fielding the ball and taking it back. First half tackles, 116 required by the Tigers, 79 by the Saints. And 21 Clark
topping it for the Tigers. Oh, Joe, that's a big count for the prop. Young did well. Got it away to Haddock. Then to Fafita. On to O'Connor. O'Connor stretching out. He's over the halfway. Gary Bridge has got him, but oh, that was a desperate tackle by Bridge. Over the touchline went the foot of Michael O'Connor. But Gary Bridge, he'd used every gear that he had in the gearbox, and he said, I've got to go now or never. I must admit, I thought this match would be a high-scoring affair tonight, but at the moment you couldn't be any further from the truth. Big Sirenan displaying all his strength as he carries the St George players. Well, that could have easily been a penalty to Saints there. Stupid stuff. No need for it. Not when you've got the football. Maguire to play it now. Back to Bridge and across to Makito. Elias taking it in, getting it away to Gale. Gale in and out and around, and he gets a pass away for Conlon. Conlon gets it on to Gary Jack, and Jack will score. That's a superb Balmain try. Oh, that was great stuff by the Tigers. Excellent work by Scott Gale. Beautiful stuff. Here's the Tooheys replay. Makito, he took them on, he got it away, Elias drew them, committed them, and then Gale went in and out and around. Oh, he went every which way. And then Conlon came on the scene, and away it went out to Gary Jack, and Jack goes in to score in the old scoreboard corner of the Sydney Cricket Ground.
You'll go a long way to see a better rugby league try than this one. I thought the St George defence hesitated a little bit. They held off when Makito was caught in the tackle. They didn't realise he could get the ball away. He did. On to Gale, then on to Jack. That's a tremendous try.
From on the 22, 8 metres in from touch. Got it away all right. A little bit wide, though. And no goal, so it's 4 points all in Tooheys Monday Night Football. Now it's Young. He's inside the 32-metre line, just. Last tackle now for the Saints. They've gone for it. Charged down by Elias. It's 6 more tackles, picked up by Walford. Walford's gone inside the 22. Gary Jack brings him down with a great tackle. 5 metres out from the Balmain line. Panic time for Balmain. Long ball out to Fafita. Fafita tries to do it himself. And he's tackled 8 metres out from the line. Dummy half is Perry Haddock. He may switch the play. Young calls it. Young goes for the line. He's about 4 metres out. He'll play it back to Jeff Selby now. St George calling the ball to the right. Balmain have got 4 on the blind side, 2 markers. So there's not many on the right, I wouldn't think. Linane, O'Connor, he spirals out of a tackle, tries to do it again, and he's tackled 10 metres out from the Balmain line.
Now's the time. Don't wait till the last tackle. Get the 1 point while you can.
It's gone to Linane, and he knocks on. Benny Elias comes up with the ball. Advantage rule applies. So there goes the pass to Linane. He knew what he had to do with it. Would you be sitting up with a footy tab card, 4-all draw? And you're sitting here telling everybody, go for a drop goal, son. Oh, Duckett has made a mistake down near his own line. Oh, what an embarrassing situation for the lad. He had it in his hands and then lost it over the touchline. Well, here's a great chance for the Tigers now. 10 metres out from their opponent's line. They've got the loose head and the feed. Gale's going to feed the scrum. Won by the black and golds. Gale goes across the ground, calls for... Oh, Gary Bridge throws a big dummy. And he goes within 5 metres of the St George line. He'll play it back to Benny Elias. Away now to Russell Gartner at pivot. Away now to Gale. On it goes to Schofield. He floats it out then to Davidson. And Davidson is put down there by Walford. It's come from Conlon and gone to Pearce and away to Schofield. And now it's Bill Kane with the ball. And he's put on the ground about 18 metres out from the St George line. 4 points all in Tooheys Monday night football. Gale goes towards the showground side. He's tackled 11 metres out from the line. They must be on their 4th tackle now as it goes across to Benny Elias. Shapes for the drop goal, holds it back, gets swung around in merry-go-round fashion. He's 5 metres out on 5 as it comes to Schofield. A low pass out to Gardner. Gardner throws it out the back, intercepted by Haddock for St George. What about him? I've taken.
Do you have the forward?
Oh, Balmain! He'll score, Bert. No, Gale's chasing it. Burgess has got the ball down. He's going to give it. And let's have a look at it on the head-on replay now. As funnel it was Wayne Pearce who missed him. He had him and let him go. And then the one-handed to Lanane. All we're waiting now to see, of course, is what happened when Burgess gets over the line. The kick by Lanane was a beauty. I thought Gale would win this race easily, but Burgess goes down over the line, and I'm blowed if I think he got it down sweetly. The flags are in the air, however, and a converted try is the final result. Saints leading the Tigers by 10 points to 4. Guider out for Young, across for Johns. It's been a good game of football, this one. Gee, I hope you've enjoyed it. Sure, we've had our differences of opinion with some of the decisions from referee Barry Barnes, but I suppose it's been just as difficult for him as some of these players to get the full 80 minutes. It's been a fast and furious encounter.
And there's the siren in the background. Chris Johns comes out from dummy half. He falls a metre short of the line. And that's all there is. There is no more. Saints defeating Balmain for the 2nd time in their 2 meetings in the Winfield Cup. 33-18 the first round, 10-4 tonight. And Burgess the try for the Saints. O'Connor kicked 3 goals. And Gary Jack scoring the points for Balmain. Let's have a look at the premiership table now. At the completion of this Winfield Cup premiership round, Manly 28 leads the competition. Parramatta 26 in advance of Canterbury and South equal 3rd 25. A 3-point break to Penrith on 22. Balmain and Norths on 20, Saints on 18, East on 16, Cronulla West on 13, and Canberra and Illawarra on 12. Next week, the matches are Cronulla versus Manly. Illawarra plays the Saints. West take on Parramatta. Penrith versus the Raiders. And Balmain has a certain 2 points. On Sunday, the NEC big game is Norths versus Canterbury. A good afternoon planned for North Sydney Oval. And Monday night for Tooheys, it's Easts versus Souths here at the cricket ground. Well, you can't say I didn't warn you. It was one heck of a week of rugby league. A very busy one. And at times a little bit difficult to keep in touch with. I hope you've enjoyed the program. On behalf of Winfield, who again take pleasure in presenting this week of Rugby League.